Let's chat about some indie releases coming out in October 2022. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is all about indie releases coming out this month of 2022. Before we jump into that though, please do make sure you are checking that description box down below for links to my Discord and social media, should you choose to come along for the ride. I will be completely transparent in this video. These lists do not come from me, so I have gathered this data from Rob J. Hayes' blog post, where he puts up all the indie releases coming out each and every month over on his blog. That will be linked down below, and also Matthew Olney's epicindie.net calendar. Both of these places are open to indie authors. If you have books coming out in upcoming months, make sure you are checking out Epic Indie over on Facebook and also their web address. I'll put both of those down below, and you are able to submit to Rob J. Hayes. To submit to Rob J. Hayes, you do need to have a Goodreads page, must be an indie release, and it needs to have a cover, and you can pop those on those lists. I'll be checking these each and every month to go through these in a video format, just in case that is your preferred method. Now, I have checked with both Matthew and Rob that this is okay, and they said, yeah, go for gold, love it. This is a video that I have seen done before. Daniel Green tried to do it a few months ago, but it didn't really work on his channel. I think that's because his audience is just not tailored so much to the indie market and more to his personality, which is absolutely fine. I'm a much smaller booktuber and my focus is indie. I love the indie world. I'm very passionate about the self-published and indie world. I'm trying to create a business surrounding that coming to us in 2023, so I'd really love to get on board with these indie releases. We have 23 of these, I believe, to go through, so we are just going to jump in, going right from October 1st through to October 31st. Let's go. Up on October 1st, we have Battleborn, Breaker of Bones by Paul Sating. This is book 3 in the Bonebreaker trilogy, which is a secondary trilogy to Battleborn, which is pretty high on my list to read. So without going too much into spoilers, because this is the last book of a series, I'll give you a little snippet of that blurb. It says, "The dead king has awoken. Death marches. Garen Undell won the War of Bones, yet all is not well. Shrouded by the shadow of his brother's shameful betrayal, he must prepare as the Desert King marches." Like I said, I don't want to go too much into detail. This is a series that is pretty high on my list to get to at some point in the future, so selfishly, I'm going to keep that as the blurb for that one. On October 3rd, we have the Molten Key by T.L. Wilson. This is for fans of epic fantasy romance, so it may be up your alley, all those fantasy romance readers I have out there. This one says, "Prepare for war, the Molten are coming. Only one thing matters to Adelia Larson, and that's family. So when her father goes missing and the only clue left behind is a mysterious iron key, she must delve into his past and uncover his secrets in order to find him. Except she's not the only one searching for him. The Fairy Guard's goal is to stop a war that's brewing in Fairy, and to do that, they need her dad. Apparently, he's a wanted fugitive with a stolen artifact needed to save Fairy from a war." Sounds pretty epic to me. October 4th gives us 2 new releases. We have the Nihilistic Neverending Nightmare. This is the Holy Grail War Book 2 by Artemis Al-Finiel. I hope I pronounced that correctly. That title is dope. The Nihilistic Neverending Nightmare, and has captured my attention along with the cover straight away. This one says, "He was supposed to be dead, but the man known as Ghost still walks the land of the living, and now he haunts those who wish to bury the terrible truth about what happened in Area 51. Battle-weary, overcome with PTSD and survivor's guilt, and manifesting strange powers, Ghost longs to put his past as a nameless military operative behind him and begin anew under the assumed identity of Ted Anderson, a man with a history best left buried." The other one up on October 4th is Realm of Darkness. This is a urban fantasy, epic fantasy, and fantasy romance anthology with 40 full-length novels inside of this one. The cover looks like this. I can't go too much into it because there's so many books inside of it, but if you love a good anthology and want some bang for your buck, this one may be the one for you. Then up on October 5th, we have Murder for a Song. This is Musical Mayhem book number 1 by K.M. Jackaways. And does this not look adorable? And even the blurb sounds adorable. I haven't read a whole lot of cozy fantasy myself, but this one's caught my attention, as well as Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, which I promise I'll get to at some point. This one says, music and coffee are Esther's lifeblood. In the quaint town of Ledstow, she lives a good distance from her nosy parents, talks to anyone who will listen about musicals, and jams on her ukulele. But when murder comes to her workplace, everyone is a suspect. When her best friend is taken in for questioning, it's up to Esther to prove his innocence. With her ukulele that has a will of its own and an uncanny gift to get people talking, she takes over where the police have failed. But the mystery becomes extra knotty when she discovers something more magical than just caffeine flowing in her veins. Can Esther clear her friend's name, uncover the witchy family secrets, and figure out why the police detective seems to be following her all by Christmas? Doesn't that sound cute and delightful? Even I'm a little bit interested in that cute and delightful story. Jumping on to October 6th again, we've got 2 releases on this day. We have Guardians of the Pack by Heather G. Harris. This is the Other Wolf Book 2, and it sort of looks like one of those urban fantasy series that has the potential to run for a really long time. The first line of this blurb is, I hate finding corpses. For some reason, my enemies think dead bodies work as a communication method. Call me old-fashioned, but I prefer a letter. Sounds a bit charming, sounds a bit cheeky. One of those urban fantasy series, like I said, that could run for a really long time and really sort of become people's favourite. So if you like urban fantasy, check that one out. The other one we have on October 6th is Virtuous Sons by Y.B. Stryker. This is epic progression fantasy with a historical twist. Leo Atos is a young aristocrat and heir apparent to a legendary Greek sect, a prodigious talent born and bred for glory. Solus is a slave, a disgraced patrician from the fallen city of Rome with nothing to his name. They're as different as East is from the West, yet both of them hunger to cast off the threads of fate they've been given and to reach for a higher purpose. That also sounds kind of delightful. On October 10th, we had the Aria of Steel Trilogy box set. This is by Stephen Raymakers. This is for fans of epic, grimdark fantasy. And you've got the full box set right here. This is for Book 1, A Canticle of Two Souls. A magic sword forged of a demon, a broken boy seeking revenge. Raziel watched the Rohan Empire slaughter his family. When a sentient sword promises him the head of the Emperor, Raziel carves a bloody path in an epic journey across a land filled with banshees and mercenaries in pursuit of his revenge. But forced to travel with a strange young woman with a dark past, will Raziel even reach his destination? Alicia has plans of her own. Gifted with a terrible magic that can bend others to her will, she also has revenge on her mind and Raziel in her sights. Can two enemies put aside their differences to seek a higher goal, or will mistrust and inner demons condemn their fates? Magic is a dangerous thing, so is hope. So if you want the full trilogy, you can grab that up on October 10th. Also on October 10th, we have Dawn of Unity. This is Last of the Seekers, Book 1 by Nitish Sharma. This is also one that sort of has that brotherly feel. We've sort of got a coming of age feel to it, and with this cover you can sort of see why. A boy despised by society, another elevated to prominence, both linked by war. This epic historical fantasy promises an unlikely friendship and a coming-of-age story that we all know and love here within the fantasy genre. Further on it says, their nations say they should be enemies, but it isn't so. They don't understand the war, but for different reasons. Will wants redemption, while Ahmed cared only about his studies, yet they seem to get along so well. They realize their powerful objects may be able to guide them, but who are two boys to challenge a war others have failed to stop? Then on October 13th, we have another 2 releases on this day. We have The Children of Chaos by Trudy Skies. This is the Cruel Gods Book 2. Now, this one is also on my radar. Book 1 is on my radar, and I believe the Book 1 was called The 13th Hour, and it's sort of making its way around with the indie booktubers here on the platform, so I won't go too much into it. This is Gaslamp/steampunk fantasy, and I'm all about Gaslamp and steampunk fantasy here on my own channel. And also, this is a duology, so if you want to get a nice quick series in with 2 books, this is probably a good one to go with. The other book out on October 13th is Scorched by Fear. This is Tales of Zagatha by A.K. Watson. Death has passed, leaving Amy and her companions alive, but only just. Now they must heal and face the next challenges. Even as Amy struggles to gain control over her life, Jax is haunted by his past. New friends, teachers, and circumstances force him to take on a new companion before facing the next dungeon, but he comes with a child and his own baggage. Wrath and sloth haunt her steps, even as nightmares plague their sleep. And that's before they even begin to face fear itself. So this one is a progression fantasy, I believe. So we've got that sort of dungeon crawler vibe happening. If you like a good progression fantasy, if you like sort of literary RPG style, this one may be for you. On October 14th, we have a books 2, 3, and 4 coming out in the same series, and this is the Tattered Realm by Kova Killian. Absolutely, 10 out of 10 name. What a name, Kova Killian. Amazing. So we've got book 2, Tattered Realms, book 3, Endless Crimson, and book 4, Remnant, coming out on October 14th. This is a realm-hopping fantasy adventure following the lives of 3 very different women. We follow the stories of Kris, a hybrid monster blamed for the crimes her mother committed, Evan, a human fighting her way back to her family, but finding a new one along the way, and then we have Callista, a demon fae cast aside by her family after her kidnapping, who can put a stop to all the fighting and heartbreak. Got a bit of a found family in there. I believe these are all quite short as well, and all 4 books are now released. If you want something to jump into that has a couple of books already out, this one could be up your alley. On October 14th, we have the Spirit Sorerer. This is a Wyvern Wars novella, book 2. This is an Asian-inspired fantasy, and the blurb says, 36 demons slain, and still one eludes him. 4 years ago, Genso Masanori accidentally released dozens of demons from the spirit realm into the real world. He spent as much time as possible hunting the demons and doing whatever is necessary to set things right. He cleanses their darkness if they let him. If they refuse, he kills them, sending them back to the spirit realm where they belong. But there's one demon he spent the last 4 years chasing. The creature never fights back, but neither will he let Manasori purify his spirit. So what does the demon want? Sounds pretty cool to me. I'm pretty interested in checking out the first novella, at least, of that series. On October 18th, we have book 6 in Luke Irontree and the Last Vampire War by C. Thomas LaFollette. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This is Blood Empire Infiltraded. I won't go too much into this one because it is a book 6 of a series, but this one just says, born in the forests of Gaul, forged in the legions of Rome, hunted on the streets of Portland. And this guy looks pretty dapper, so I can imagine following him around to slay vampires, I guess, if there's a war going on. So that one is out on October 18th. Then on the 19th, we have The Mansion. This is by Niranjan K. This is a paranormal horror sort of book that has been released. This one says, the ruined mansion had been there for as long as most of the locals remembered. There was nothing special about it, till 3 friends came researching its past. What happened 50 years ago to reduce the mansion to rubble? And what is the strange journal that Jai found among his books? And what is the explanation for all of the supernatural forces following them around? I do enjoy a bit of a haunted house story, so this one sounds like it could be up my alley. We've got a couple of releases on October 20th. The first one is Master Mage, Riders of the Fire Dragon Masters Book 4. This is by Aline Mueller, and this is one for the YA fans out there. We've got fantasy, we've got sword and sorcery, and we've got some romance as well. This one says 3 mages, a powerful dragon mage, another plotting to kill him, and a temptress hungry for power. Giddy is the only dragon mage in the realm, able to mind meld with dragons at will. He quickly rises through the mage ranks. Staris, a bitter senior mage, resents Giddy's magical abilities and wants him dead. Series continuation, can't go too much further into it than that. We also have another continuation up on October 20th called The Peddler of Chains. This is by Allegra Pescatori, coming at you with some fantasy romance vibes. This is the Mountain Fell book number 2. It says, Asura of Vine died 5 times in bloody service to her queen, but now her queen is dead. The cycle of reincarnation has ended, and Ash is ready to set her trusty bow aside and live out the rest of her days in peace. All she wants is to live a quiet existence on the Rim, but her past, it seems, is intent on catching up with her. She's tried to outrun him, but he's not a man to be rifled with. We got some romance vibes in there. That man, he's gonna be rifled one way or another. On October 21st, we have Infernal Fall. This is by Brian Timothy Mitchell, and check out this cover. Is it not awesome. This one has definitely grabbed my attention from the cover alone. This one says, there is only one way out of hell. Daniel Strong is a troubled young man with only one bright spot in his life, his girlfriend Christine. He hopes to propose to her on a hike in the mountains, but a mysterious artifact in a dark cavern ruins his plans. Don't you hate when that happens? Things quickly go downhill, literally, as handing the keystone causes Daniel to fall straight into hell, leaving Christine behind. That sounds unfortunate and fun adventure. So I am probably going to check this one out because it seems pretty cool. On October 24th, we have Strangers in a Promised Land by Jim Wilborn. This is the Continua Chronicles Book 1.5, and we just had a cover reveal for this one, and it looks like this. This one's pretty cool. I'm not going to go too much into this one because I am very interested in reading the 7th Cadence. Jim Wilborn seems like a really cool guy. He's on a few of the Discords that I am also on. So, selfishly, I'm not going to read the blurb of this one. I highly recommend you check these out. On October 25th, we has Wizardom Legends Charlatan for Hire, the outrageous exploits of Gerald Landish. This is by Jeffrey K. Koenig. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. Apologies if I did not, but what a series name. This one says, a powerful crime lord, a mighty wizard, a web of nefarious schemes designed to snare the one thief willing to challenge them. A new crime lord has risen, claiming control of Marquis' underbelly. Ruthless and powerful, this man demands Gerald joins his ranks. Gerald refuses, instead preferring his independence, but soon realizes he cannot face the entire Thieves Guild on his own. With a gorgeous and conniving partner at his side, he acquires a new client, willing to pay an outrageous sum if he can execute the impossible. Steal over a ton of silver from a mine controlled by a powerful wizard and guarded by an army of soldiers. I don't know, it sounds pretty cool to me. I wouldn't mind giving this one a crack. On October 25th, we have All Hallows Airship. This is Seasons of Soldark by Liz Delton. It says, a catastrophic blast, a haunting memory, and she only has one chance to prove her family's innocence. All Kaz Coppersdown has ever wanted is to be a journalist for the Soul Dark Times, but the chances of her parents letting her pursue a breaking story are slim. Secluded after a childhood illness, Kaz finally gets to leave Soldark for a trip to the country of her aunt's great estate, but quickly finds out there isn't anything newsworthy there unless you count her aunt's upcoming All Hallows Eve soiree. Until the local air show clashes with her aunt's party plans, causing more than just pumpkins to be destroyed, when Kaz meets one of the airship pilots and discovers something about her family's past. Kaz might have just found her big story, but she'll need to dig for the facts quickly because the constables are looking for a culprit and old ghost stories are making themselves known on All Hallows Eve. Alright, we've got 3 to go, thanks for sticking with me. Up on October 26th, we have The Fury of Fate. This is the Oxenborn Chronicles book number 3 by D.W. Ross. Now, I've seen a lot of D.W. Ross over on Bookstagram. I'm very interested in this series. I won't get into the blurb because I don't want to spoil it for myself or others, because I know there are a few of you out there who are also looking forward to this one. Just know that book 3 is coming out on October 26th. We then have Midnight on the Manatee on October 28th, and this one also looks adorable. This one is a fantasy romance. How does the steamship Manatee navigate sea monster infested waters? What sacrifices do her grand prophets demand? The only certainty is that the Manatee casts a dark shadow everywhere she makes port. Brianna, a tough, no-nonsense human, yearns to escape stifling big city rules and a troubled past. A quaint seaside town seems perfect to start a new life until she wakes up aboard the Manatee as cargo. Shard Nekajin, feline of the forest, dreams of sailing to distant lands to the horror of his friends. When his intriguing new neighbour Brianna disappears and all signs point to the mysterious Manatee, he's certain this is his moment for high sea adventure. Yet with skills tailored to the forest canopy, his rescue goes disastrously awry. Sounds like a bit of fun. If you like a good romance and you like some nautical fantasy, maybe this one is up your alley. The last one we have here on October 31st is The Keeper by Diane Gardner. This is a Sword of Cho-Nissi story. Now, I do not have any information about this book. I could not find a whole bunch. This one is a Kickstarter that's going on at the moment, and I'll pop a link to that Kickstarter down below. Those are all the indie books that are coming out of Rob J. Hayes' blog and also the Epic Indie Calendar in the month of October. Don't forget, if you are an indie author, you are able to submit to both of these platforms, and those links will be down below. Let me know if you're looking forward to any of these. Have you read any of these? Again, let me know in those comments down below. If you like the content, give it one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.